To cryptocurrency now, and what a difference a year makes, right? This time 12 months ago, Bitcoin had just hit its record high of $19,511, but for most of December this year, it's been under $4,000, now at $38.18. Earlier, I spoke with the founding partner of crypto oracle, Lou Kerner, about Bitcoin's prospects for next year, and he's one of the world's most influential crypto bloggers, and he is still a bull.
What it's evolved into today is a store of value. And today the main store of value is gold. It's an $8 trillion thing. Bitcoin today is around $60 billion. So I think it has an opportunity to actually, I think, replace gold as the dominant store of value, in which case, you know, it can go up more than 100-fold from where it is today. But even if it becomes a strong second, I think it can go a long way. It's just a better way to store your value.
All right, as we look back, when investors look at 2018 and they say, gosh, Bitcoin, what is the explanation for this fall?
I think we just got ahead of ourselves. That's that's what happens. I have a word that I use to describe the tendency of markets to become bubbles, crash and become bubbles again. And the word I use to describe that is capitalism. Right? That's what happens. when there's something called Amare's law, which is that the impact of all great technological change is overestimated in the short run and underestimated in the long run. And I think Bitcoin and the broader kind of crypto category, which is this whole new computing platform of blockchain, cryptocurrency, smart contracts and such, that the disruption from that is going to be greater than the disruption that we saw from the internet. And Bitcoin is kind of the early leader, kind of like the Yahoo of its day. And while it's a massive thing, it's not the thing. Right.
The fall of the NASDAQ was down by about 78%, and Bitcoin also fell about 78%. So we're seeing that kind of match there. That begs the question, if we got ahead of ourselves, when do we unget ahead of ourselves then?
Sure, and that's the right question, and the truth is nobody knows the answer to that, right? If this is a thing, and we really believe that in 20 years this will have created trillions of dollars in value, similar to how the internet has, and so we're at the very beginning today, and it's going to be here in 20 years. The only thing we know for sure
is that a forecast there? Because right now we're at about 4,000-ish or so.
Yes. So, and the great thing about making 20-year forecasts is nobody knows you're going to be wrong for a long time. But so if it's going to be here in 20 years, the only thing we know for sure is that the path to getting there is going to be like this, right? And if you focus on where you think you're going to be in 20 years, which is what you're doing, kind of all of this is just noise.
Okay, a Bloomberg News article just came out saying that the days of 20,000 for Bitcoin, well, officially 19,511, right, about a year ago, are behind us. What do you say to that?
If this becomes a store of value, and we think it's well on the path to becoming. Gold's had a 5,000-year run, right? It's a great run. What else has lasted 5,000 years? This is just a better store of value. If the world comes around to sharing that view, and I think we're on that path, then we're easily over 100,000 in 3-4 years, I think, in Bitcoin.
Wow. All right. Interesting there. So I'm going to come back to you in 20 years or so. We're going to see where we are. I'm going to remember this. When you talk about store of value, you push this relative to gold and to silver. Explain what you mean by this then.
Well, if you take a look at the history of currencies over time, 100% of them up until 400 years ago went to zero, right? And the truth is, if you think about the dollar, right, it's a Ponzi scheme, and it's fine. This is how governments work. Nobody thinks we're going to ever pay back the debt that we have. We're never going to pay back $20 trillion plus of debt. And by the way, there's going to be more tomorrow and more the day after. So the only way, if you want to maintain your ability, your purchasing power, the only thing that's held up over time has been gold. That's how you store your value. Over time, all currencies degrade, and eventually they all go to zero. So today, $8 trillion is stored in gold, in value, that people are saying, I don't want to hold the dollar, I don't want to hold, it's a part of a diversified portfolio generally. Silver is the second biggest store of value at about 50 billion, and Bitcoin today is 60 billion. So it's really kind of taken over second place from silver as a store of value.
All right, let's say Bitcoin does disappear. There's some folks who say, listen, it's just the first iteration, there are other things ahead of us. What would that or those be?
Well, Bitcoin started off to be a digital currency. And it can still potentially become one, but the problem is as really the first iteration of a decentralized entity that achieves scale, there's not a functional governance for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin really, really struggles to evolve. So all it can really be, it can be a store of value. It doesn't need to evolve to be a store of value. It needs to evolve to be a digital currency. And so we think that there will be digital currencies. We think governments are going to issue their own digital currencies, but they'll be, they'll obviously be pegged to their, to their regular currency, and they'll degrade over time. So we think that pure digital, non-government, digital securities where how many dollars or whatever it is that they're going to be. The problem is nobody knows how many dollars they're going to be tomorrow other than they're going to be more.
All right, to sum it up for 2019 for investors on Bitcoin, final word?
It's going up.